Dear children, very good, pleasant and musical morning. Today I am going to teach and explain fifth lesson from your English textbook, The 100 Dresses Part 1. Last week, I hope you all remember, I have narrated the central theme of the lesson. You won't forget. Now, let me read the lesson sentence by sentence in your book, page number 63. How do we judge the people around us? By their money, wealth, and possessions? Or is there something of more enduring value to look for in a person? How we are going to judge the people? This story is a sensitive account of how a poor young girl is judged by her classmates. Wanda Petronsky is a young Polish girl, that means who came from Poland, who goes to school with other American children in an American town. These other children see Wanda as different in many ways. Even her name is different for her friends. Can you guess how they treat her? And before going to the lesson, in a square box, information is given in the box below. Find out more about this community or about a related topic from an encyclopedia or the internet. That is in a box, the Polish American community in the United States is given. In your free time, you can read it word by word. What is given in the box, let me say in brief. In 1608, many people from Poland migrated to America and settled down in America. That's what given there, that you can read later. Now let us straight away go to the lesson in next page number 64. Today, Monday, Wanda Petronsky was not in her seat. That means she was absent. But nobody, not even Peggy and Madeline, the girls who started all the fun, noticed her absence. Her friends who used to make fun of her, Peggy and Madeline also, did not notice her absence. She was not there in the class. Usually, Wanda sat in the seat next to the last seat in the last row in room number 13, that is their classroom. She sat in the corner of the room where the rough boys who did not make good marks sat, the corner of the room where there was most scuffling of feet, most roars of laughter when anything funny was said, and most mud and dirt on the floor. Lost benchers, backbenchers, we used to say, those who are making lot of noise in the classroom, maybe those who are making fun and very playful. What do you mean by scuffling? That means noisy. They are dragging their feet on the ground and making noise. And when teacher says something, they will be laughing in a loud voice. But why Wanda was sitting among them? Wanda did not sit there because she was rough and noisy. That means, on the contrary, she was very quiet and rarely said anything at all. She won't speak. And nobody had ever heard her laugh out loud. She was very shy. She never even used to open mouth. She didn't even laugh in loud manner. Sometimes she twisted her mouth into a crooked sort of smile. Very simple smile without any noise. But that was all. Nobody knew exactly why Wanda sat in that seat, unless it was because she came all the way from Bogins Heights. Last week itself I explained that was the name of the place where poor and low caste people were living, and that area was full of muddy and dirty. And her feet were usually caked with dry mud. With that, she used to come to class. But no one really thought much about Vanda Petronsky once she sat in the corner of the room. She was very, very silent. The time when they thought about Vanda was outside of school hours, at noon time when they were coming back to school, or in the morning early before school began, when groups of 2 or 3 or even more would be talking and laughing on their way to the schoolyard. Maybe the friends were waiting for her and they accompanied. She used to accompany them, and on the way they used to make fun of her, they used to laugh. Then sometimes they waited for Vanda to have fun with her. That's what they wanted, to make fun of her. The next day, Tuesday, Vanda was not in school again. She was absent either, and nobody noticed her absence again. But third day, on Wednesday, Peggy and Maddie, who sat down front with their other children who got good marks and who didn't drag in a whole lot of mud, children who were coming from rich families and from town, they are not at all having any mud on their shoes, did notice that Vanda was not there. Peggy was the most popular girl in school. Last week itself I explained. She was very pretty. She had many pretty clothes and her hair was curly, and so she was very popular. Her friend Maddie was her closest friend. The reason Peggy and Maddie noticed Vanda's absence was because Vanda had made them late to school. Because Peggy and Maddie were waiting for Vanda's arrival. Because of that, they became late. So they observed that she didn't come. They had waited and waited for Vanda to have some fun with her, to make fun of her. And she just hadn't come. So only they understood that she was absent for the past 3 days. They often waited for Vanda Petronsky to have fun with her. Let us continue. The first paragraph is in a detailed manner. The writer said the 3 characters, Vanda, Maddie, and the main character Vanda Petronsky, she was absent for 3 days. Vanda Petronsky, most of the children in room 13 didn't have names like that. You know, the name is special. They all had names easy to say, like Thomas, Smith, or Alan. They are all stylish American names, whereas Vanda Petronsky was very strange. There was one boy named Bounce, Willie Bounce, and people thought that was funny, but not funny in the same way that Petronsky's name was. That means very, very funny. Petronsky's name was funnier than Bounce and Willie Bounce. Vanda didn't have any friends. She came to school alone and went home alone. She always wore a faded blue dress that didn't hang right. Didn't hang right means didn't fit properly. Poor children used to wear such poor fitting clothes. That's why the dress was not fitting properly. It was, of course, clean, but it looked as though it had never been ironed properly. Maybe their family did not have enough money to iron. She didn't have any friends, but a lot of girls talked to her. Sometimes they surrounded her in the schoolyard as she stood watching the little girls play hopscotch on the hard ground. You know, hopscotch is a game in which children hop into, jump, and over squares marked on the ground. So, interesting game for the children. Vanda, Peggy would say in a most courteous manner, Vanda, as though she were talking to Miss Mason, talking to the teacher, Vanda, she would say, giving one of her friends a nudge. Nudge means a gentle push, just to indicate that she is going to make fun of. Tell us, Vanda, tell us, how many dresses did you say you had hanging up in your closet? In your cupboard, dressing cupboard. How many dresses did you have? So to make fun, Vanda, that is Peggy, was throwing a question to Vanda. Immediately, without any hesitation, 100, Vanda would say. 100? With surprise, exclaimed all the little girls, incredulously. Of course, they are unable, say incredulously means they are not ready to believe, unwilling to believe. And the little ones would stop playing hopscotch and listen. Those who are playing also stopped to hear that Vanda had 100 dresses in her dressing cupboard. Yeah, 100, all lined up, said Vanda. Then her thin lips drew together in silence. What are they like? All silk, I bet, said Peggy. She wanted to stimulate her, make more fun. Yeah, all silk, all colors. Without any hesitation, Vanda is replying. And velvet too? Yeah, velvet too. 100 dresses, Vanda would repeat stolidly. That means not showing any feeling. Without any hesitation, she was saying strong voice. All lined up in my closet. 100 dresses. Of course, some of them are silk, some of them are velvet. Then they would let her go. They allow her to go. And then, before she had gone very far, they couldn't help bursting into shrieks and peals of laughter, because every day they watch. She used to wear the same blue color, somewhat torn, unfitting dress. They understood that it was a lie, so they were laughing. 100 dresses? Obviously, clearly, the only dress Vanda had was the blue one she wore every day. So, why did she say she had 100? What a story. Then one day, how many shoes did you say you had? 60 pairs, all lined up in my closet. Again, another interesting lie. 60 pairs of shoes. Cries of exaggerated politeness greeted this. All alike? They are asking, 60 pairs of shoes? Are they all alike? Oh no, every pair is different. All colors, all lined up. Again, Vanda is saying without any hesitation. Peggy, who had thought up this game very interesting, and Maddie, her inseparable friend, were always the last to leave. Finally, Vanda would move up the street, her eyes dull and her mouth closed, hitching her left shoulder every now and then in a funny way she had, finishing the walk to school alone. She knew that they were making fun. So the lesson is teaching us, last week itself I told, we should not make fun of the people, poor people, someone's helplessness or their poverty. And at the same time, Peggy was not really cruel. She protected small children from bullies. Some of them were making fun of, bully means they were frightening the small children. Peggy used to protect the small children. And sometimes she cried for hers if she saw an animal mistreated. If anyone was mistreating an animal, Peggy was crying for a long time. She was such a soft-hearted person also. But anybody had said to her, don't you think that is a cruel way to treat Vanda? Why are you making a lot of fun? Why are you mocking Vanda? She would have been very surprised. Cruel? Why did the girl say she had 100 dresses? We all know she was a poor girl. Anybody could tell that was a lie. Why did she want to say a lie? And she was not just an ordinary person, else why did she have a name like that, Vanda Petronsky? Anyway, they never made her cry. Anyway, Peggy was not making her to cry. Just as she thought Vanda was saying lie, there is nothing wrong in making fun of her. That is the idea of Peggy. As for Maddie, her close friend, this business of asking Vanda every day how many dresses and how many hats and how many this and that shoes that she had was bothering Maddie. Why? Because Maddie was also a poor girl, poor herself. She usually wore somebody's hand-me-down clothes, that was second-hand clothes. If any rich children were giving somewhat old dress, she used to wear that. Hand-me-down cloth means old clothes handed down by some of her friends. Thank goodness she did not live up on Bogin's Heights where poor people were living, or have a funny name also like Vanda. She had a beautiful name, Maddie. Sometimes when Peggy was asking Vanda those questions in that mocking, polite voice, Maddie felt embarrassed and studied the marbles in the palm of her hand, rolling them around and saying nothing herself, because she was afraid maybe the same questions, same fun may turn to her. Not that she felt very sorry for Vanda exactly. She would never have paid any attention to Vanda if Peggy hadn't invented the dresses game. But suppose Peggy and all the others started in on her next. Now they were all making fun of Vanda. Maybe if Vanda was absent, Peggy and other friends, if they started making fun of herself, that is Maddie. So she was keeping quiet. She was not very poor like Vanda. That is, she was not as poor as Vanda, perhaps, but she was anyway poor. Of course, she would have more sense than to say she had 100 dresses. Still, she would not like for them to begin on her. She wished Peggy would stop teasing Vanda Petronsky. She even prayed God that Peggy should not continue the teasing of Vanda Petronsky, that should not continue with her. Today, even though they had been late to school, Maddie was glad she had not had to make fun of Vanda. She was absent. She worked her arithmetic problems absent-mindedly. 8 times 8, let us see. She wished she had the nerve to write Peggy a note, because she knew she never would have the courage to speak right out to Peggy to say, "Hey, Peggy, Peg, let us stop asking Vanda how many dresses she has. You started the game. Stop it. Enough." She wanted to say, but she had no guts. She was slightly afraid. So she thought of writing. When she finished her arithmetic, she did start a note, writing a note to Peggy. Suddenly she paused and shuddered. She pictured herself in the schoolyard, a new target, here a person deliberately chosen for attack. Suddenly there was a mind picture. Maddie was standing in the schoolyard. Peggy and all other friends were making her as a new target and making fun of. For Peggy and the girls, Maddie was a new target. It was purely imagination of Maddie. Peggy might ask her where she got the dress that she had on. It was an imagination. And Maddie would have to say it was one of Peggy's old one that Maddie's mother had tried to disguise with. Just she was altering it and new trimmings, so no one in room 13 would recognize it. It was the old dress of Peggy Maddie was wearing. If only Peggy would decide of her own accord to stop having fun with Vanda. Oh, well, Maddie ran her hand through her short blonde hair as though to push the uncomfortable thoughts away. Blonde means a kind of golden hair. It's very rare, the girls used to have. She was pushing it very stylish manner, uncomfortable thoughts away also. She was moving their thoughts, unwanted thoughts. What difference did it make? Slowly Maddie tore into bits the note she had started. writing, and she didn't like to give the letter to her friend. She was Peggy's best friend, and Peggy was the best liked girl in the whole room. Peggy could not possibly do anything that was really wrong, she thought. As for Wanda, she was just some girl who lived upon Boggins Height, that was a poor area, and stood alone in the schoolyard. She scarcely ever said anything to anybody. The only time she talked was in the schoolyard about her 100 dresses. Maddie remembered her telling about one of her dresses, pale blue with colored trimmings. And she remembered another that was brilliant jungle green with a red sash. You would look like a Christmas tree in that. She never spoke with anyone. That was, she never spoke with anyone about anything. Only one time she spoke about the dresses. You would look like a Christmas tree in that, the girls had said in pretended admiration. Thinking about Wanda and her 100 dresses all lined up in the closet. What do you mean by pretend? The last word, pretended, means not real, fake admiration. It's not real appreciation. Thinking about Wanda and her 100 dresses all lined up in the closet, Maddie began to wonder who was going to win the drawing and coloring contest. There was a coloring contest given by the school teachers. For girls, this contest consisted of designing dresses, and for the boys of designing motorboats. Probably Peggy would win the girls' medal. Peggy drew better than anyone else in the room. Maddie knows very well. At least that is what everybody thought. She could copy a picture in a magazine or some film star's head so that you could almost tell who it was. Such a good artist used to paint very nicely. Oh, Maddie was sure Peggy would win. Well, tomorrow the teacher was going to announce the winners. The contest was over, actually. The teacher was going to announce the results. Then they would know. The next day it was drizzling, very light, slight rain. Maddie and Peggy hurried to school under Peggy's umbrella. Naturally, on a day like this, they didn't wait for Wanda Petronsky on the corner of Oliver Street, the street that far away under the railroad tracks and up the hill. She used to wait there, but as it was slightly drizzling, raining, she was not waiting. That road is, actually Oliver Street will definitely used to lead to Boggins Heights. From there, Wanda used to come and wait at the corner. But as it was raining, they didn't expect her. Anyway, they weren't taking chances on being late today because today was important. Teacher was going to announce the results. So, Peggy and Maddie did not like to wait there for Wanda to come. Do you think Miss Mason will announce, the teacher Mason, name of the teacher is Miss Mason, will announce the winners today? Asked Peggy. Oh, I hope so. The minute we get in, she said Maddie. Of course. You don't worry, my dear friend Peggy. You will win, Peg. Hope so, said Peggy eagerly. Everybody thought Peggy was such a pretty girl and talented artist. The minute they entered the classroom, they stopped short and gasped because they were eagerly waiting to know the results. There were drawings all over the room, on every ledge and windowsill, dazzling colors and brilliant lavish designs, all drawn on great sheets of wrapping paper. Many paintings were hanged there in the classroom. It was like a beautiful drawing room. There must have been 100 of them all lined up. This must be the drawing for the contest. They were, of course. Everybody stopped and whistled or murmured admiringly. They were all wondering that they were in another dreamy world. So many colorful paintings. As soon as the class had assembled, the teacher, Miss Mason, announced the winners. Jack Beggles had won for the boys. She said, and his design for an outboard motor was on exhibition in room 12, along with the sketches by all the other boys. And the next, as for the girls, she said, although just one or two sketches were submitted by most, one girl and room 13 should be proud of her. This one girl actually drew 100 designs, all different and all beautiful. In the opinion of the judges, any one of the drawings is worthy of winning the prize. I am very happy to say that Vanda Petronsky is the winner of the girls' medal. There was a clap and all around, all the children are wondering, everybody clapped hands with wonder. Unfortunately, Vanda has been absent from school for some days and is not here to receive the applause that is due to her. Let us hope she will be back tomorrow. The applause is actually for Vanda. It is due to her. Due to her means here it belongs to her, but she is not there to receive the appreciation and applause. Let us hope she will be back tomorrow. Now class, you may file around the room quietly and look at her exquisite drawings. That means extremely beautiful and well-made drawings. One picture is enough, but she has drawn 100 dresses, different color, different pattern. It is excellent. The teacher explained and the teacher asked them, dear children, you may file around the room quietly and look at her exquisite, that is extremely beautiful, well-made drawings. The children burst into applause once again. They were all clapping hands, and even the boys were glad to have a chance to stamp on the floor. All of them are stamping their leg in order to appreciate, in order to praise, but their fingers in their mouths and whistle. They started whistling also. Though they were not interested in dresses, the boys also whistling in order to show their happiness and pleasure. Look, Peg, whispered Maddie. There is that blue one she told us about. Isn't it beautiful? Yes, said Peggy, and here is that green one, boy, and I thought I could draw. So, Peggy accepted the greatness of Vanda Petronsky. The first part ends here, dear children, with a suspense why Vanda Petronsky was absent for 3 or 4 days. After submitting all the 100 pictures of dresses, she was absent. The first part ends here. Let us wait one more week to know the suspense what stopped Vanda Petronsky not at all coming to school. Let us see. Let us wait and see. Okay? I hope you all have understood and enjoyed the lesson. This is not sufficient. These online classes are half-handed. Even in the class means I would have been acting and teaching you in better manner. Reading the book without your presence is not at all that much effective. Anyway, I have tried. I actually curtailed my wonderful way of acting and presenting it in a grand manner. If it is a classroom, it is better. But anyway, for better understanding, in your free time, please, I request you all to read the lesson once again and enjoy the lesson. After hearing this YouTube video, let us pass on to the PDF and this week's grammar exercise. Let us all pray sincerely as we do in the classroom as usual. I will meet you all very soon in the school. That's all for this week. Of course, stay safe, stay at home. All the best.